Sometime within the next minute or so, somewhere on the planet, another big idea is being born. It might be a new song, a new product, who knows? And who knows how to make this idea grow and introduce it to the world? Let's find out. Welcome to The Next Big Idea with your host, Peter Gantner. The program is sponsored by kulaBrands, dedicated to help with branding, funding, and marketing the next big idea. And if that idea is yours, you want to pay particular attention to the particulars. Peter and his co-hosts and guests will explain just how it's done. If you happen to be an investor or just an interested party, you could benefit from the efforts of kulaBrands. You could become a part of their community of folks who want to help others and make money in the process. If that sparks your curiosity or wets your whistle, sit up and take notice. kulaBrands presents Peter Gantner and his guests on The Next Big Idea.
Hello, everybody. This is Peter Gantner, your host for The Next Big Idea, and I have my universally famous co-host, Deborah Caswell.
Oh, Peter, I'm so glad we're back. I couldn't wait to jump back into all the digieBot information here. I'm so excited. I love my platform.
Oh, and of course, our other co-host, Corey, is still MIA today, but that's okay. He's going to be back on some future shows. Today, we're here with digieBot. Today, we have Doug Kyle. Brendan couldn't be with us today, but we're going to dig in here. So the last show, we were really just getting started. I mean, I thought we had a lot of show left. We ran out of show. So we said, hey, we've got to have you back tomorrow, Doug. And so here we are back again. So one of the things I want to talk about, we mentioned in the last show, money management. Part of that money management, the secret sauce, right, for digieBot is something that's called LTH. Doug, can you dig in? And first of all, let's say hi to you right before I start asking you questions. How rude is that? How you doing, Doug?
I'm doing great. Great night's sleep. I'm feeling good.
Awesome. Very good. So let's dig into some of the magic. There's a lot of magic with Digi, right? But one of those is money management. And part of that money management is what's called LTH. Well, wait. Before we get there, guys, digieBot, in case you missed yesterday's show or one of the past shows that we've done on this, cryptocurrency auto trading bot. It takes your cryptocurrency and it trades it on a daily basis and helps you grow Bitcoin. Of course, I'm going to turn it over to Doug. He's going to tell you the statement. Past performance does not
guarantee future results, Peter.
Bingo. Also, too, we talked about yesterday, digieBot is the only one that we know of and that we've been able to find that posts actual trade results for a cryptocurrency trading software. Okay. That is an auto bot trading software. So, Doug, with that, let's jump into the magic of LTH.
Sure, Peter. Yeah. So, we talked a little bit yesterday about, the three most important things in trading. One is finding a good entry or a great entry if you can, finding a good or great exit. But the real magic, and anybody that's in trading that knows anything will tell you this, the key to winning is money management. And we use a term called LTH, which stands for long-term hold, which I think, Peter, is probably a little bit misleading because some of our LTHs are 48 hours and some are 30 days. So usually when a trader thinks of long-term hold, they're really thinking, 6 months or a year. That's not the case here. This is really, using the market movement. And what we do is if the market's moving down, we're in a trade, we move that into a different money management system so that Digi manages that differently than it would maybe a current or active or live trade. And our goal is really simple, Peter. And we can't guarantee this, but this is what we do and this is what's being done, right? So I can't guarantee the future. I can just tell you what we've done in the past. We leave no trade negative. We want to trade every trade whenever and however possible back to a positive position. And there's a huge power in the crypto market over Forex and over the futures, over the other markets. And that power is that we don't trade leverage. Now, there Peter, we should talk about this because there are brokers that are coming out with leveraged opportunities, and we should get into that in one of these segments here. But we don't trade leveraged, and that means we own the asset. And so we can let the market drop and come back up, and we can do things to manage that coin back to a positive position so we don't ever take a negative trade. And that's what allows Digi to be very, very profitable. And again, like last episode, we talked about the trades that we had won for the last 2 months. So, and that's how we do it. We are really into trading the accumulation and distribution points of this market and trading all trades back to positive whenever possible, Peter.
Well, Doug, you mentioned leverage, because every time I hear a marketing or all that stuff, they say, oh, you know, put in 6 and you're buying this. And leverage is really good for you if you're extremely wealthy and you're trading a very small portion of your wealth. And if the market goes in the other direction, like it did just, you know, in the stock market or any of the markets really recently, when it dropped dramatically. Matter of fact, I think there was something about somebody who had oil, and they were had some contracts, and they had put up maybe small amounts of money because they had the potential to make huge amounts of money. And because oil did what it did, they were hit very hard. So I know in the marketing side of things, everybody's like leverage, 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 leverage. In something that's in the early stages like crypto, I don't even know if you would need to leverage it, because if crypto is heading where they're predicting to 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, $1 million a coin, I don't need to leverage that. The leverage is in where the coin is going. All I have to do is accumulate safely, or as safe as possible, as much coin as I can, and the multiplier will come from the growth in the coin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a couple of multipliers, I think, within the crypto world, but you know, and let's get to those. But let me put it this way for everybody that's out there. When you go onto an exchange and they're offering you 10 to 1, 100 to 1, 300, 400 to 1 leverage, right? They're loaning you that money, Peter, to trade that 100 to 1. So if I have $1 in the market, I'm trading 100, right? $10, I'm trading 1,000. So $100, I'm trading 10,000. So they're loaning you 90%, $9,000 on a $1,000 deal, right? And Peter, they're not charging you interest. Okay, why is that? Has anybody ever stopped to think, why is somebody giving me this money and not charging me interest? Because most traders lose. In fact, we know for a fact at an exchange level, which we did a lot of trading at the exchange level in the Forex world, that most of the trades never hit the real market. They keep them in-house. They actually hedge those trades in-house because they know most of the traders, when they're leveraged, are going to lose because they can't sustain a drop in the market. So they have to take the stop. It is free money for those exchanges, Peter.
Wow, that's just incredible. So one of the things that I love about Digi, it's an auto bot. And one of the things that most people, so even if they learn, let's say they sat down and they took a course and they're brilliant and they understand it, and they understand the pips, and they understand the Fibonacci and Fibonacci and big, whatever the Nazis are, right? There's lots of Nazis out there, but whatever they are, they understand it perfectly, okay? And there's still human emotion in that, isn't there, Doug? And so I think, oh, I should sell, I should buy, I should, and there's that hesitation that a person has that a auto trading bot does not have, because the auto trading bot, and correct me if I'm wrong, the auto bot is trading on a set fundamentals that it doesn't have the emotion, it doesn't have the fear, oh my goodness, am I going to lose or win? It just does what it does, and that's why it has a consistency in it that trading as a human does not have.
Oh yeah, absolutely true, Peter. And you know, Brendan, who is not here today with us, you know, we've trained again, literally tens of thousands of people around the world. We've had traders on calls every morning with us for years, everywhere around the world, watching our trades. And what we found is that the human nature is to doubt themselves. They would see an area that they thought was a good area to take the trade, and they would watch it, maybe hit that area and take off and go, oh, I knew I should have got in. And I can't tell you how many times that people go, I knew that was a good trade. Well, did you get in? No. Well, why not? Well, I just, I hesitated. Well, yes, I did get in, Doug, but I got in a little bit late. It was kind of at the top, and then the market started coming back down. I said, well, what'd you do? Well, I sold it. Well, why'd you do that? Well, because I got in at the wrong place. Well, what happened after you sold it? Well, the market went back up. So did you get back in? No, I missed the run. This is, and if you're a trader, I'm speaking the truth, right? Because this is what happens out there. It's the human emotion can't trade like a robot can in terms of having a robotic system. And Peter, we really should talk next segment about the different robots. What makes a robot? Why is Digi different than another robot? Because there is a huge significant difference in DigiBot.
I cannot wait to get to that in the next segment. Real quick, Doug, I want to know more about digieBot. Where do I go to find out more?
So go to digiebot.com and you can read all about digieBot, see actually our live trade results on the Get Started page. If you scroll to the bottom, we post live results of all of our traders, our hundreds of traders. You see their results right there, Peter.
That is awesome. We're coming up on the end of this break. We will get you more information in the next segment. Guys, this has been fantastic.
You're tuned in to Better Living Radio, streaming worldwide across the internet, and you're listening to entrepreneur and thought processor Peter Gantner on the next big idea. Stay tuned. Peter will be right back. It's a touchy subject, but are you concerned about the rise in teen suicide rates? The numbers are getting higher every day. We know suicide is a lonely experience that occurs when someone feels disconnected from the rest of the world. With the loss of our in-person interactions, it's happening more and more, but that's not the real problem. The real problem is that until now, there's been no way to quickly turn around that negative thinking. Now, there's a simple tool called the Why Not Workbook. Created by the founder of the Teen Suicide Prevention Society, the Why Not Workbook is designed to quickly break the patterns of negative thought, shifting you into a place where you reconnect with your personal reasons for living. So, if you've ever felt helpless, like there was nothing you could do, you'll want to grab one of the free copies of the Why Not Workbook and share it with your friends. Get your copy today at whynotworkbook.com. Better Living Radio is on the air, and yes, it's everywhere around the world. Are you wondering, hey, what's the big idea? Well, funny you should ask. Our show is called The Next Big Idea with Peter Gantner. In fact, we're back with more on Better Living Radio.
Man, I am glad that was a short break because we are just getting going in this show. We are here with Mr. Doug Kyle, the founder, creator of digieBot. And guys, I'm going to spell this for you, digieBot.com. That's digiebot.com to find out more information on it. So Doug, we were talking about digging in, the difference between bots. Why don't you take it from here and just kind of explain to us what makes digieBot special? We've already talked about LTH. We've talked a little bit about posting our trade results on the page. What else makes digieBot special?
Sure, buddy. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of bots out there, and they all use different tools or different things. Most of the bots, you'll go out in the market and look at, Peter, they'll offer all of the standard indicators that are on TradingView charts or MetaTrader charts, one of the charting systems, and you pick a combination of indicators, and then that bot will trade for you. Those are what are called lagging indicators, and they historically over time absolutely do not work. What is different about Digi? Digi is a complete volume-based system. What do I mean by that? If you're in the trading world, you're familiar with trading in volume or VSA type systems. But if you're not in the market, let's think of it like this. If Peter had a lot of money and he wanted to buy Bitcoin and he was willing to put $1 million on the Bitcoin, and a bunch of other big traders or a bunch of other traders were seeing that trade happen, and there's a way to see that. And they said, wow, somebody's getting in with $1 million. I think I might want to get in with them. I think that would probably be a good idea. And that's exactly what Digi does. We analyze the volume of all of the buyers in a very, very unique and specific way, which is proprietary to Digi. But we understand exactly who's playing and where they're playing. We also know who's selling and where they're selling. And we can see the difference between those players. And sometimes they're the same guy. He bought low and sold high. That's okay, but we can see exactly what they're doing. So if somebody's willing to take money out of their wallet, Peter, and put it in the trades, and if there's a bunch of other people that are going to do it in the same place or same area, we want to know about that, because that most often is the best place to take the trade. If we start seeing people take money out of the market, people can take small amounts and it's no big deal. But if we start seeing some big amounts leaving the market, then that's probably a good place for us to start taking some of our profit also. And that's exactly what Digi does. And that's what took 2.5 years to develop and build. And we understand volume like probably no other system I've ever seen, Peter.
Well, buddy, correct me if this is wrong, but it's essentially looking at the market makers and watching what they're doing and following along with their movements versus doing what my emotions or what somebody on a YouTube channel is telling me, or somebody who might, think they can read a chart, those type of things. Is that correct?
Oh, that's absolutely correct. So, a lot of people will talk about trading swing points, Peter. That's basically a bottom of where a market had been in the past. And those are good places to trade. But when you're understanding volume and you get to a place like that and you see no buyers coming in, Peter, that's not a good trade. So that's a really difference in what Digi does. It sees that, like you say, the market makers, we call them whales in the market. We see guys that are trading huge amounts of money. Now, if somebody put in $1 million or $10 million or some big number on a coin to buy that coin, what you'll often see is that same person will defend that position, right? They've got a big investment. They're not going to let the market go down. And they got a bunch of buddies usually that are in that same position with them. And they defend those points. And we can see that really, really clear in Digi. So some of the times on some of the seminars I do live and showing people how Digi works, I actually show them the back end a little bit, and I show them how that volume looks, which is really an amazing thing, Peter.
So you're telling me that Digi is like me being part of the club, right? We're at the golf club or we're at the whatever club, and my buddy nudges me and says, hey, you want to buy this? And he's on the inside kind of thing. We're not talking about any insider trading. We're just talking about knowing what the big guy is sharing, that information of trends and different things that are happening. And that allows me to benefit without me having to actually do anything other than purchase digieBot, set it up properly, and let digieBot, do its thing. I may not even know, like, Deb was talking about, she woke up this morning with 4 trades. So that was the nudging of the shoulder there at the country club saying, hey, go ahead and sell that, while Deb was asleep. They didn't even have to nudge Deb and wake her up. They nudged Digi, and Digi did it for us.
Absolutely correct. And again, that there's nothing more true than somebody putting money into something or taking money out. At the end of the day, that's what is real, right? So if somebody's willing to put money in or they're going to take money out, that is what's happening right now. And that's what you need to know to be successful in trading. So, again, all of the old indicators, things like that, those are those are basically reflections of what that person or those people are doing. But when we say lagging, meaning they're behind what's really going on in the market. So Peter, no professional trader, right? No hedge fund, no big trading institution uses lagging indicators. They all trade based on volume of some kind. And they all trade on
lagging indicators. I mean, I guess we could always go back to 1918 in the last pandemic and look what the lagging indicators were in those days, right? I mean, there was literally something that just happened that changed everything in the marketplace. So there were no lagging indicators in any pandemic before this. So would those even be accurate when what just happened here recently? Any lagging indicator?
No, they wouldn't. And one of my favorite books of all time, and if you're a trader out there, it's kind of a heavy read. It's called The Black Swan by Taleb. And it really talks about these abnormal events, Peter, in the market that come out of nowhere. And in most cases, those are the ones that crush the trader. So we had that down move in the oil futures the other day where it went negative. We talked a little bit about that, but people were leveraged in that. We figured out that it was, I think, $70,000 a tick for some of those in that down move. People lost millions and millions of dollars potentially in that down move and absolutely crushed them, right? Because they couldn't see that coming, right? That no lagging indicator could have told you that. But if you go back and read the volume of that move, and we did, we went back and read the volume of that move, you could see it coming, and there was a drop, a slight recovery where we could see big guys getting out, and then the whole floor fell. And it was a free fall. There was no getting out, Peter.
Wow. That's just, and again, it's a supply and demand issue, right? A lot of people buying, supply is being sucked up, right?
Yep.
A lot of people selling, supply is being put into the marketplace. If there's a lot of supply, a little bit of demand, prices go down. If there's a very little supply, prices go up. Guys, this is simple, supply and demand issues. And if you're able to see that supply and demand and get a clear picture of it, through watching these, the volume, boom, magic. And that's Digi. And that's why we publish the results on the page. Guys, when I talk about I do want to make sure you understand this. kulaBrands digieBot is a kulaBrands supported project. We are involved with this. We help put it together, not me, but Doug, who is one of the founders of kulaBrands. And I got to tell you, the reason for it taking the time that it did and for it getting where it's at and everything else is we initially began to build this because we thought if we could help our members, the kulaBrands members, our family, the Kula family, we could help them trade and help them make enough money, they could then support projects. They would have time to do branding and marketing. They could go out and do sales. So it was kind of a selfish thing when we started this, right? It was how could we improve the financial position of our members and then allow those members to help launch more companies, building more wealth for themselves. Ended up building something that is so incredible that we are opening it up to the world, right? For people to purchase it and buy it and for everyone to benefit from what we've built. But this is just like, mom's at home and she's cooking dinner for the family versus cooking it for strangers. Probably going to do a little bit better job for the family, right? Going to make that beautiful meal and make it happen. This is a project that was built for the family. As Doug said in the last call, we have a Kula party. We have to show up at that. And if we have bad trade results, we might not want to show up because people will be throwing eggs at us or maybe something else at us. Who the heck knows, right? We're coming to the end of this segment, guys. We got a couple more segments to go with Mr. Doug Kyle of digieBot, the founder, the creator. We'll be back after the break on the next big idea.
So are you wondering where the next big idea will come from? Well, you'll hear about it first here at Better Living Radio. See, this is the show called The Next Big Idea. Maybe you got the next big idea, or maybe you just like to make some money from it. Peter Gantner will explain when we come back on Better Living Radio. You've heard it said right here, you can't move gigantic boulders unless you've got some kind of leverage. You know, like a crowbar positioned in just the right spot. With enough leverage, you can multiply your strength and move mountains. The idea applies to investing too. Think of it. How'd you like to own companies like Roku or MasterCard or Raytheon and put down as little as 10% to unlock the treasure chest of unlimited upside gains while drastically reducing your risk, and do it all with zero borrowing cost? You just need that leverage and a little know-how. So Dan Frischberg and the entire Money Man team are making that possible. They're handing you your very own investment crowbar in special step-by-step, click-by-click instructional videos called the Layaway Option Service. It's for beginners and pros alike. Look, if you want to make real money, you owe it to yourself to take advantage of this once-in-a-blue-moon opportunity. It's your chance to see the results for yourself. The cost is next to nothing, and look what's waiting for you. Generally, you'll get 3 detailed trades each week, quality, actionable trades. You get detailed instructions on buying and selling specific put and call options. The Layaway Option Service shares specific underlying stocks, expiration dates, strike prices, and shows you how much money you could make instantly. It's Dan Frischberg's proven money-making discipline that over 50 years has made a lot of people rich. Lots of other benefits are waiting for you too, along with these special step-by-step, click-by-click instructional videos. The Layaway Option Service. Too much to detail here, but it's all right there at themoneyman.com. themoneyman.com. Welcome back to Better Living Radio and this amazing idea for a radio show. It's called The Next Big Idea. Rather ironic, wouldn't you say? Hey, if you've got an idea, you might want to talk with host Peter Gantner or one of his guests here at Better Living Radio. Look, here they come now.
We are back, and we are here with Mr. Doug Kyle with digieBot, also one of the co-founder or founders of kulaBrands, with myself. We have Deb, our universally famous co-host of the show.
Not just a universally famous co-host, but a universally famous digieBot trader as well.
Yes,
that's the truth. I mean, she is famous.
And she loves it. I got to tell you guys, you know, we're going to tell a little story on Deb. So when Deb first set up digieBot, she thought, well, she took a couple training things. She watched some of the tradings. She was doing a little trading on her own, okay? Now, after a little while, she realized that digieBot, I'm going to let her tell her side of it, right? Because I want her to be able to defend herself. So, Deb, real quick, tell us your experience when you were kind of, and you also, too, I want you to tell them about how you fell in love with one coin, with a coin, and how you ended up having to get beyond that in order to really start to benefit from digieBot.
Yeah, I did. So we came in as beta testers, I don't know, a year and a half or so ago, and going through Doug's training, I just went out on Binance and started buying some of my own coins, and I fell in love with Tron. I fell in love with Tron, and he was doing really well, and I was having fun. I was making money and just really enjoying it. And then when digieBot was ready for us to start beta testing there, I kept purchasing more Tron, just kept manually going in, grabbing more Tron until I had a lot of Tron. And what happened recently, well, not recently, but Tron tanked quite a while ago, but I just kept trusting that he was going to come back. So I kept buying more at the bottom, right? Just, oh, this must be the bottom. So I'd buy more. And I was just planning to hold on to it until he came back. Well, recently, what happened was Digi stopped taking trades for me. And what I found out was I didn't have enough Bitcoin because I had used it all on Tron, and I was holding on to it. I was holding on to this Tron. Well, so what happened was, Doug, I told Doug, I said, well, you know, I'm just waiting for a little bit until he starts taking trades again. And Doug got together with me, looked at my account, and really talked to me about, really helped me understand, if you're holding on to a coin because you think someday it's going to come back, digieBot is not going to trade. If you don't have the Bitcoin in there for digieBot to trade, he's not going to, right? So you're just going to sit and hold that Tron, hoping on hopium that it comes back, or you can let go of that Tron for now and go back in later once digieBot has built up your coin for you. So while Doug will never tell you, he doesn't give trading advice, right? That's not what this is all about. But he was able to help me see the big picture and what I was missing with digieBot. So now Digi is constantly trading. He just constantly, and my Bitcoin just continues to accumulate and accumulate and accumulate more. And I can't wait until Bitcoin does what we think that it might do down the road, right? Where it just becomes, well, we've seen it before, and we're going to see it again, tenfold, 100-fold. I'm really excited. And real quick, I had no experience with trading cryptocurrency. I didn't understand what cryptocurrency was. I had no intention of learning what cryptocurrency was, but I trust Doug and Peter. I've worked with them now for 4 years. I know who they are. I know their hearts. I know where they're coming from. And I would go to the end of the earth with the two of them. And I'm so proud and grateful that I've been able to be a part of this whole process, start to finish. Doug, you're amazing.
Oh, thank you, Deb. You know, and Deb, you touched on one thing, and we talked a little bit about LTH before. And Peter, I want to talk a little bit about one of the products that we're currently developing. Is that okay?
Oh, absolutely, buddy.
Okay.
Jump on in. That's what we want. Because, guys, digieBot is great right now, but it's going to improve and continue to get better. This is really just the base. It's the beginning of it, right? And so go ahead, please jump in there, Doug.
Yeah, I think, you know, we've had, like I said, last show, we had over 7,000 winning trades this month so far, 9,000 winning trades last month. So yeah, I think Digi's pretty great. But, you know, our goal is to constantly be making Digi better. So one of the things that Deb went through is that she had to let go of her Tron. Now, this is really important because there's a lot of people out there that have fear of the crypto market. What if a coin goes to zero value? What if this happens or that happens? Well, we talked a little bit about LTH. We talked a little bit about LTH money management. But one of the things that we're developing, which I've never seen done before, is what I call a ledger system. So at some point, we're going to go back and pick up Deb's negative Tron trades and put them into a ledger system and actually reopen those trades, because with their trade ID, reopen them in a way that we can add additional coins like Bitcoin or any other coin, or even maybe Tron at that point if Tron decides to behave, right? But we can add additional coins to that ledger, and we will trade every one of her negative trades back to positive. So that is a huge statement, right? And why is that so important? Because some coins we don't know, right? Some coins, maybe Quantum or one of the other altcoins, does go to zero value. That's okay. Well, Doug, are you crazy? How's that okay, right? That's okay because when you understand how to recoup that negative position, when you understand how to put other coins around it or trade that negative position back to positive, that empowers you now to have control over this market. So most people are controlled by the market, but through proper money management, we control the market the way that we want that outcome to be, Peter.
So another aspect of digieBot, which I love, is and the piece of software I bought a couple of years ago, which I used, which ended up in a disaster, guys. I'm going to tell you right now, it was not a pretty sight, but it had a cap on it, what it could trade, which is all the softwares that I know of do. And once I hit that cap, it would go away. The great thing that I love about it, so when I picked up what are called bags, which were coins that were in a loss, they would hold on to those, and that would be counted against me. LTH, and correct me if I'm wrong, Doug, if I have, let's say I have a $5,000 trading account, $1,000 has moved over into LTH, I'm still actively able to trade 5,000 until those LTHs come out and then go back into the trading side. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. So, LTH is long-term money management system. And our goal is to make sure our traders are making as much money as possible. So we would never, ever want to put somebody in a position that is basically taking a swing trade position or a long-term trade position and holding on to that and not be able to still maximize their trade account. So if there's a certain amount in long-term hold, we allow them to redeposit or deposit additional funds into their account if they want to trade that at its maximum account. We have other things that we'll be announcing that allows them to up their trade amounts also, but those are things that are coming, Peter.
That is awesome. Okay, so Doug, real quick, digieBot.com. What are the license options available? How do I'm listening to this. I'm like, man, I got to do this. They built this for the family. They're going to show me their past trades. They're doing everything with transparency. How do I get involved? What do I do? What does it cost me? All those details.
Sure, absolutely. So you go to digiebot.com and go to the Get Started page. And at the
buddy, how do I spell that? digieBot.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's great. Good point, Peter. We spell Digi, D-I-G-I-E, bot, B-O-T. So D-I-G-I-E, bot.com. So you go to digiebot.com, go to the Get Started, scroll down, you'll see the licenses. The licenses for the auto trading are exactly the same, meaning that if you buy the bigger license, you don't get anything that's better. You just get to trade more money, right? So the smaller licenses, they have a smaller cap on the trade amount. The bigger licenses allow you to trade more, but the bot itself is identical. So if you click on one of those buy nows, it'll bring you to another page. And on that next page, it'll list all of the potential bots that you can buy. So right now, Peter, we have a $100 30-day test. You can trade one of Digi's largest trade limits, which is $5,000 for $100 for 30 days, and just see if you like Digi. So it's not a big, huge commitment. If you like Digi at the end of that, Peter, you can apply that $100 to any of Digi's licenses. So we have a $395 license that does a $1,000 trade limit. I just saw on the site right now it says semi-annual. That is actually the annual payment. I have to get the programmers to fix that. Anyways, it's $1,000 trade limit for $395. You can actually trade that up to $2,500. So we don't cap you at the 1,000. We allow you to trade it all the way up to the next license size. And that next license size is a $2,500 trade size, and it's $875 annually. And you can also trade that $2,500 up to the $5,000. I'm going to tell you why we're doing that here in just a second. And then we have the $1,290.
Buddy, guess what? They're going to have to come back after the break to get the rest of those details. We'll see you on the other side.
You're tuned in to Better Living Radio, streaming worldwide across the internet. And you're listening to entrepreneur and thought processor Peter Gantner on the next big idea. Stay tuned. Peter will be right back. The weekly Dent Market Digest is heard on Better Living Radio. It features Harry Dent, well-known master of the new science of finance. Along with co-host Rodney Johnson, Harry explains how they forecast the markets. As detailed at harrydent.com, there are some keys. First, predictable spending patterns at various ages and stages of life. Second, who spends what? As larger groups age and spend more, the economy grows. Third, our birth rate. New generations come along and there are new cycles of spending, earning, and productivity. Next, Harry looks at spending waves to estimate peak spending times. And finally, he looks at the inflation indicators. Now, by analyzing this information, Harry Dent has been able to successfully forecast how spending will change in the years to come. You can follow along by clicking on to harrydent.com, and you can find all of Harry's contact info on the homepage at betterlivingradio.com.
Have you written a book and want to get it published? Then call Page Publishing ASAP. We're looking for authors of all types of books. And unlike most publishers, Page Publishing will take the time to review each and every book submitted to us. And we'll give you our feedback. And if we like what we read, we will get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, the Apple iTunes Store, Barnes & Noble, and other outlets. We handle everything. Editing, cover design, copyright protection, printing, publicity, and distribution. So if you've written a novel, children's book, cookbook, inspirational work, poetry, or a biography and want to get it published, call Page Publishing now for your free author submission kit. Your road to fame and fortune could very well start with this simple phone call.
Call now, 800-219-8262, 800-219-8262, 800-219-8262. That's 800-219-8262.
Better Living Radio is on the air, and yes, it's everywhere around the world. Are you wondering, hey, what's the big idea? Oh, funny you should ask. Our show is called The Next Big Idea with Peter Gantner. In fact, we're back with more on Better Living Radio.
We are back after that break. Before the break, Doug was explaining to us digieBot.com. That's digiebot.com, where you can go and get the pricing and all that stuff. Doug, we made it to, I believe, the third license. But why don't we go back over the second license, and then we'll go to the biggest license that's available.
Yeah, Peter. So we have an 875 license that used to have a trade limit of $2,500. We changed that recently, where you can actually trade that trade limit up to the next level, which is $5,000. So the $2,500 maxes out at $5,000. Then we have our biggest license right now, and we do have other ones coming out, Peter, but our biggest one right now is $1,295 annually, and it has a $5,000 trade size that will trade up to a max of $10,000. So those are all of our licenses.
Well, so the license I bought a few years ago, I paid more than that, of course, but also there was a 20% of my winning trades I would pay on a weekly basis. How is Digi different in that factor right there, buddy?
Sure. We take 12% of the winning trade, not of the winning trades. And so if you win, 10%, we take 12% of the 10%. So yeah, and a lot of them are in that 20% range, Peter, but we do 12, and we actually pay an affiliate commission on that 12 also. And we'll get into the affiliate commission stuff, I think, here in a little bit.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about that through the rest of this segment. So now you were just telling me, though, instead of weekly, we actually take that percentage monthly, which allows them to trade that over the course of the month, right? They keep that in their account. They're able to trade that.
Yeah. So one of the things that we're working on right now is a compounding model that allows people to trade a percent of their account versus a dollar amount. And when I was going through that model, we had it designed where you would pay your 12% on that weekly winning trades. But once I figured out the compounding, I figured out people could make anywhere from 10 to 20% extra on their account if I had them pay for it monthly. So they keep that money in their account longer and working for them, Peter, by doing that. And we want to do everything we can to make sure they make as much money as possible.
All right, buddy. So I'm listening to this. Oh, go ahead, Deb. Go ahead.
I just gotta say, I love the way you think. I love the way you guys think. This is how it is with every single thing that you guys have done. It's always, wait a second, how can we make this better for the people using the software? How can we make it better for the people supporting these entrepreneurs? This is the Kula way. I absolutely love how far it's gone into the digieBot platform.
Well, and the great part is, right, we talked about this. We built this for the Kula family, people that we're spending the rest of our lives with. So we have to make sure that it is absolutely the best for them. It's got to be that great value proposition. Okay, so Doug, I'm listening to this. I'm going, man, I'm going to get digieBot. Man, I got 15, 20 friends that are going to need this. Or I wish I could do this. I don't have the money to do it, but I do know other people who have the money and that would love to purchase this. You mentioned about an affiliate commission. Let's go through that side of it. What does it take for me to become an affiliate? How much money can I make, right? What's the percentages? Do I get paid on anybody I recommend? Is it a multi-tiered affiliate program, single tier? Can you run that by for me?
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, I want to be really clear why I wanted to do it this way, and why Peter wants to do it this way, and Brendan, and anybody that's involved in Digi. Why did we want to have an affiliate program, right? We are all about making money. Bottom line, that is what we want to have happen for all of our trading members, right? So we could go out and hire a marketing company, and we could pay that marketing company to sell Digi, and then we keep the money in Digi and we bring in traders, right? Or we can do what we're really passionate about, and that is really changing people's lives by finding ways for them to have multiple income streams and having ways to make money. So we developed an affiliate comp plan that does just that. It keeps the money in the family so that everybody can grow their financial wealth. It's really about creating freedom and financial wealth for everybody, and that's our personal goals. So what does it look like? Well, digieBot pays out 39% of the money that comes in to Digi. And how does that work? We pay out 20% to you if you bring in somebody direct. So if I brought in Peter, I would make 20% on Peter's license, whichever
Wait a minute,
license
you're talking
you
about, buddy, if I sell a $12.95 license, I'm getting 20% of that $12.95.
Yeah, basically around $259, I think, Peter.
Holy smokes. And then if I have somebody do the $100 test, that monthly one, I'm going to get 20 of that. And then I'm going to get a percentage of whatever they upgrade to as well, correct?
Absolutely. So any money that comes in, so if they do the $100 test, you're going to get 20% of that. And again, if I brought in Peter and Peter brought in Deb, right, I'm going to make 8% on what Peter does.
Okay, hold on one sec right there, buddy. So now we also take a percentage of the winning trade, those 7,000, 9,000 trades that are done. I sold the license to somebody, $12.95. I got 20% of that, or my friend sold it to them and I got 8% of that. Do I also get a piece of those winning trades?
Absolutely. So you get the same percentage. So you get 20% of the 12% or 8% of the 12%. And again, if Deb brought Cory in, which is your other fabulous host who's not here today, but you would get 4% on that. And you would get 4% of the trade. So it's 20% of the license fees, 8% of the license fee, and 4% of the license fee. And then 20% of the trade fee, 8% of the trade fee, and 4% of the trade fee. And then we have a bonus pool that we can talk about above that, Peter.
Wow, I don't even know if we need to get into that, guys. This is tremendous. You can check that out on the site, digiebot.com. That's digiebot.com. The other thing that I want to make sure that we do is that we take a poll to see if Cory is our other wonderful host, right? I think we should maybe put a survey out there. I don't know if Doug was just making that up or is just assuming that Cory was our wonderful host, but maybe we should put that out to the listeners and they can let us know. Just kidding, guys. We love Cory. Even though he's not here today, we still love him. We will always love Cory. He's a phenomenal individual.
He is. And Peter, what I noticed that what happened just there while Doug was talking about this affiliate program, I saw you fall away almost out of your chair and away from your mic even.
I did. I was like, holy mackerel, man. I started thinking about, wow, what if I had 20, 30, 40, 50 friends that also wanted to benefit from this? You know, we have a retirement crisis coming in the United States of America. 30+ million people, 50 years or older, have less than $25,000 in retirement savings. Okay. So think about this from a perspective. Again, guys, I'm not giving investment advice. We don't do that here. But from my perspective, I look at it, 54 years old. Can I take $1,500 or $2,000 or $2,500 of the money that I've saved up? I'm 54 years old. Can I put that in there? And if Bitcoin performs the way it's supposed to, if all the evidence around blockchain, all the patents being filed, people beginning to use it, major corporations starting to use it to track their inventory, the major out there talking about utilizing the blockchain to track food, right? To make sure that our food source is not. We're talking about all kinds of things that the blockchain is going to be used on. I can take $1,500, maybe $2,000, $3,000 and utilize that and truly have the possibility of taking my retirement savings, which is underwhelmed right now at this point, right? That is not enough to retire on, and have at least a shot at ending up in a decent position with a very small portion of what I have right now.
Yeah, and Peter, I want to make sure they get this too before the end of the call. That's not a one and done deal. Every year when they renew, they get paid again. Every year when they renew, they get the trading fees again. Why is that important? If somebody brought in just one person a month for 12 months, so they brought in 12 people, paying 3 levels, that's roughly around a $21,000 a year affiliate commission. Now we're going to go a step beyond that. I'm going to get it in very quickly. We're going to allow some of that affiliate commission to be traded, Peter, so they can compound their efforts with Digi.
And that's above and beyond my license limit, right? That's going to be additional on top of that for going out and marketing. Guys, I'm sorry to say that we're running to the end of this show. Guys, we believe that this is a great opportunity. Thank you for joining us on the next big idea. If you have an idea and you want us to check it out, please send it to us. We're looking forward to seeing you on our next show.
Did you ever imagine that these little inventions like radio and the internet, that there was a time when they were considered the next big idea? And yet here you are today, having just heard a program called The Next Big Idea. Peter Gantner is your host. He's one of the founders of kulaBrands, and they can help you whether you've got an idea of your own or you just want to get in on the ground floor of the next big thing. Peter and his co-hosts and guests are here weekdays on Better Living Radio to discuss the ins and outs of creating, manufacturing, branding, and marketing the best of the big ideas. Maybe you've got one, or maybe you want to be involved in one. You're definitely tuned into the right spot. So hear this. You can hear this program weekdays at the same time on Better Living Radio as kulaBrands presents Peter Gantner and the Next Big Idea.